Hey Dabbles, I hope you guys have been doing great and staying safe during these crazy, weird times. So today I'm going to share with you some of the adventures that I've been going on during COVID. So obviously these are very strange times and we're very limited in what we can do safely. So I've actually been doing a lot of outdoor activities. I'm somebody who actually loves to do things outside anyway, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I do to keep myself busy in the most safe way possible. Now, I'm somebody who loves to make life into little adventures. I'm always looking to travel to different national parks, and when I was living in LA, there's just so much to do and so much to see, and I spent every weekend trying to explore and find new things. While most states and cities have points of interest within a couple hours, I loved that in Los Angeles I had things that were very nearby. So when I was moving back from LA to Atlanta, I told my family, I'm so nervous because I love doing these outdoor activities, and I want to be able to do that on a regular basis. And they're like, oh, we have tons of places and tons of things to explore. And I was like, I know, but they're in the mountains or a couple hours away. I like the fact that I had something nearby. And they're like, trust me, there's places nearby. And they were right. So I've actually been spending the last, year or so just exploring all the different areas, in and around Atlanta, and I wanted to share it with you. Initially, I was going to create one video that just had little snippets of the different parks, but during COVID, I've actually taken up a new hobby, which is kayaking, and I caught myself watching videos on YouTube of different places that you can go kayaking, and I actually enjoyed the ones that showed me the entire path so that I can see what it was going to look like. So because I ended up doing that, I was like, well, maybe people will actually watch the video because, I could tell you a little bit about it, but all of these parks have so much to offer, and I could tell you where some of it is, and maybe one day I'll make a compilation video, but for now, I was like, let me just show you each individual park and tell you a little bit about it. So today I'm going to start by telling you about Jones Bridge Park. Now, the funny thing about this is there's actually two parks, not four. Two. But there's two parks named Jones Bridge Park, but they're completely different entrances on completely different sides of two different cities, but it is because they are actually the same part of the river, just on different sides, and it's all within 5, 10, 20 minutes of each other. So I'm going to share those with you, and then I'll expand and continue sharing different places that I explore throughout this state, as well as when I'm back in California. Let's take a look. Alright guys, I'm going to take you OTP today. If you don't know what that is, if you're from Atlanta, if you've ever visited Atlanta, there is ITP and OTP, which is in the perimeter and out of the perimeter, and people think it's a lot cooler to be in the perimeter, which I agree, it's pretty cool, but sometimes it's cool to get out too, because there's a lot of really cool wonders out there. So the first park I'm going to share with you guys is Jones Bridge Park. Now, it's a little confusing because there's actually two Jones Bridge parks, and they're both on this part of the river, but they're actually accessed from different sides, and the entrances are in two completely different parts of the city, as one is in Gwinnett near the Forum, and the other is off Barnwell Road in Roswell. This was actually really confusing to me at first, but I'm going to share both sides of the park in this video so you can see them both, as they do offer different things. So the first Jones Bridge Park that I'm talking about is off of East Jones Bridge Road. You're going to it's near the Forum, and you're just going to drive all the way down until it backs into the park, and this is the entrance. Once I go in, I basically take the first right to park right there. It's right near the pavilion. They've got tons of picnic tables that are covered as well as uncovered, as well as grills and different things so you can picnic, but a lot of the picnic tables are right there with great views of the river, as you can see here. It's so pretty. Then right off the picnic table area, there is some stairs that go down close to the shoreline. And this is actually where you get some really great views of the river, as well as there's a bunch of different little entrances with stairs that take you right on the water. Now, if you come during the weekend, there is tons of people here. Don't mind the trash bags. They were cleaning, obviously. But there's all these different entrances with stairs, and it's probably the safest place on the river to go in and swim and play, and there's tons of people out there. There's people fishing. There's children that are playing. Of course, it's a shoaly area, so you got to be really careful, but it is absolutely beautiful. You'll see people fishing out there, and there's tons of ducks and wildlife, and it's just incredible. And if you can get there, you know, early morning, a lot of times they do have this beautiful fog that I was able to capture on this day. I've also seen it in the dusk sometimes on really hot days, but it just, the way that the sun hits in the morning is absolutely beautiful. So all along the shoreline, they've got all these different seating areas and picnic tables and grills, as well as these different stairwells that go right into the water, and there's a bunch of them. So it does help keep you separate, especially right now with COVID, which is really nice. But the stairs just make it easy access to the water, and they all have different views, slightly different views of the river. So it is just really nice to kind of walk down it. It's just really therapeutic and just so beautiful. It's so nice to just go sit off sometimes and put your feet in the water and feel the nature all around you. There's always ducks and geese and all sorts of wildlife that are all around, and it's just really nice. Some of the other amenities that the park offers is some walking trails. They're not extensive on this side of the river, but they do have some walking trails. I see people walking their dogs all the time, and I've done a short little part of the trail myself with my mom one time. It's really pretty. They have all sorts of wildlife. It's like through, you know, the canopy, so you do have some shade and cover. And there's, you know, different trails. I haven't done all of them, so I'm not sure if they, you know, are any longer, but I don't think so. But there's tons of beautiful streams and different little areas that are so pretty. There's meadows, there's huge fields. People on the weekends are playing soccer. They've got picnic, you know, scattered all throughout the lawn. And it's really great for the kids. Not only can they get in the water, but they've got this cool playground. And, you know, they've got all sorts of different things, which is really cool because they've got things for different ages. So, you know, play areas that are for younger and older kids, but just really cool playground for the kids. So you can, you know, have a picnic or sit off and sit by the river while your kids play at the playground. And last but not least, they've got some really cool sand volleyball courts as well. Alright guys, so now we're going to talk about the other Jones Ridge Park that is off of Barnwell Road. This one does require a fee to park, but it is basically like if you were to walk across the river, it is the little other side of the river that I just showed you. So when you first pull off Barnwell Road, you're going to come down this drive that's all under canopy. It is a really, really pretty drive to get to the park. So it's also got this boat launch area, and then of course, as I mentioned, you have to pay to park. There's restrooms when you park right there near the parking lot, and you can take a look at the map. What's really cool about this is just one park that is off of the Chattahoochee River. There are a ton, and I have actually been exploring some of the other ones, which I'll hopefully share with you in the future, but you can take a look at that and kind of see different areas that you can go to. So once you start on the trail, this is kind of what it looks like. You're going to go down a short little area, and then you'll get to this fork where you can go left or right or straight right into the water. So you can come here and just put your feet in the water. I've seen people sitting here. You could probably load off like a canoe or kayak or tube or something here too, but there is that boat ramp when you're driving in as well. And if you were to go to the left side of the trail, it's a shorter trail all along the river. You'll see the river through the trees. I'm sure in the fall, this is just such a beautiful area. But there's little areas that go right into the water. You'll see people sitting there to, you know, just think, read, or fish. There's these rocky areas that you can walk onto. Of course, lots of nature. You'll see a ton of wildlife and animals. But this is kind of what the trail looked like. Just wanted to show there's some areas that are rocky. There's also a dock. I think there's two docks actually down this way, but you saw this dock on my video earlier from the other side of the river, so that's kind of cool. But you'll see a lot of people sitting here to fish. I've seen people reading here. Just a really pretty part of the river. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the left side of the trail, but it backs into a neighborhood which is private property, so I didn't want to cover it, but just wanted to show you kind of what this side looked like. So then I turned around and wanted to show you a little bit of the other side of the park. When you go right on the trail, it basically is parallel with the road that you drove in on, but it's got like bridges and streams and just a lot of, it's a lot longer on this side and just very pretty. Again, a lot of entrances to the water, and there's wildlife, as you can see here. I think I scared the deer away. But there's actually entrances to the water, and there's some beach areas in the center that you can walk to. As you can see, some people are there playing with their dogs. So really fun to get out there with your kids or with your animals and walk this trail. So I'd say this side of the park is more if you are here to hike or fish. But otherwise, if you're, kind of trying to have more activities for the kids or go on a date, I think the other side is a little bit nicer, especially because you can get on the Shoaley area a lot easier. So that wraps it up. Those are the Jones Ridge Parks, and I'll have more to showcase for you guys soon.